I stood just outside the glass door, holding a report nobody even asked for. Inside the conference room, they were popping champagne. Laughter bounced off the walls. Someone turned up the music, that obnoxious pop remix Ron Granger loved. Through the glass, I saw plates of sushi, sliders, even mini cupcakes with company logos on them. Celebration mode, high fives, backslaps, people clinking glasses like we'd won the Super Bowl. Except, I wasn't in there. Ron caught my eye through the door. He tilted his head and walked over like he'd spotted a fly on the window. He opened it just enough to slide his smug face through. "Only senior leadership today, Donnie. Maybe next year you'll earn your seat," he said, like I was a delivery guy dropping off paper towels. Then he shut the door in my face, just like that. No shame. I stood there another 10 seconds, blinking like an idiot. I looked down the hallway. Not a soul in sight. Nobody to see the humiliation. Not that it mattered. It was already boiling in my gut. This wasn't just a missed invite. This was my project. 18 months of my life. I ran point from day one. I coordinated teams, calmed screaming clients, fixed bugs at midnight. I missed Thanksgiving. I missed my daughter's school play. I slept at that office during the final rollout, all so Ron could walk into that boardroom, take my work, and toast himself for it. Quick note, before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. I gripped the folder in my hand until the corner tore. The label read, Project Scorpion, Final Delivery Package. My name was printed on every page inside. I should have walked in and shoved it down Ron's throat. Instead, I walked away. Didn't say a word. Not because I was weak, because I was done. I'd spent 2 years keeping my head down, playing along, thinking if I just worked harder, I'd earn my spot. But that moment, standing behind the glass like a janitor who wandered too close, something broke. No, scratch that. Something flipped. They didn't see me now, but they would. And when they did, I wasn't just getting a seat in that room. I was going to own it. I turned, tossed the folder in the trash can, and walked straight out the front door. I didn't go home that night. I drove for hours, ended up parked behind a gas station off Route 58 with nothing but a vending machine burrito and my thoughts. That glass door moment, that wasn't the beginning. That was the snap. The real beginning was 2 years earlier when I walked into Faulkner Systems, wearing khakis that didn't fit and a stiff button-down shirt I bought on clearance. Project coordinator, entry level. Salary barely covered rent. My buddy Travis thought I'd lost my mind. "You've got a mechanical engineering degree, Donnie," he said. "You could walk into Lockheed tomorrow. Why the hell are you settling for spreadsheet bitch work at a startup nobody's heard of?" I didn't tell him the real reason. Didn't tell anyone. Faulkner Systems wasn't just some rinky-dink software firm to me. It was his. Emery Faulkner, the man whose name I refused to say growing up. The man who built the company from scratch, made millions, and then slammed the door in my mom's face when she married a guy from the trailer park. That guy, James Martin, was more of a father than Emery ever tried to be. I took his name, Martin. I never looked back. Emery never met my daughter, never called on birthdays, never sent a single dime for school clothes. He cut my mom off and never looked over his shoulder. That was the legacy. But blood's a messy thing, because when Emery finally died, prostate cancer, no funeral, just a headline in some tech trade journal, turns out he did leave something behind. I was 34 when my mom told me. Sat me down in the kitchen, handed me a folder full of trust documents like it was a birthday card. "You've got 18%, she said, eyes low. He left me 22. I put it all in a trust for you the minute I found out." I stared at her like she'd just confessed to robbing a bank. "You're saying I own part of the company?" "You will, once you're 35. But there's more." That's when the phone calls started. Some downtown law firm kept leaving voicemails, polite but pushy. "Mr. Martin, we'd like to discuss your inheritance rights as outlined in the Faulkner Family Trust." I finally picked up, and the attorney laid it out. My mother's trust had a clause. If I worked at the company for at least 12 months before or after turning 35, I could activate full voting rights on all shares tied to my name and hers. Do the math. 18% plus 22. Controlling stake. It felt like someone just handed me a live grenade. "You have 6 months," the lawyer said. "After 35, Your eligibility to activate both trust votes together expires. That's when I made the call, not to the lawyer, to HR at Faulkner Systems. Hi, my name's Donnie Martin. I'm interested in the project coordinator opening. They didn't connect the dots, not with the last name Martin, not with the shaved-down resume I submitted. I left out my degree honors, left out half the internships. I needed them to see me as hungry and cheap. They did. My first day, I walked into a cubicle with a broken chair and a crusty keyboard. No welcome packet, no lunch invite. Nobody looked twice at me. Good, because they had no idea who I was, and I liked it that way. Every time I passed that stupid oil painting of Emery in the lobby, arms crossed, jaw set like a Civil War general, I stared back at it, but never stopped walking, let them toast him like he was some legend. I wasn't there for nostalgia. I was there to take it back. That first year, I kept my head down and my mouth shut. Nobody cared what I thought anyway. I was the guy they copied on emails out of obligation, not respect. I pushed spreadsheets, updated JIRA tickets, reconciled vendor budgets no one bothered to check. People treated my work like background noise. Ron Granger was my manager, middle-aged, fake charming, one of those guys who called himself a people person while throwing everyone under the bus. At first, he seemed fine, gave me quick replies, called me kiddo in meetings, but within weeks, I saw through it. He'd ask for my analysis, then present it to the execs with his name on the bottom. He'd hand me reports at 5 on Friday and say, "Just tighten this up for Monday, yeah?" Like my weekend was wide open. He ran his team like a poker table. Bluff, smile, talk, big, fold. Every move was calculated to make him look like the guy holding the cards. Meanwhile, the company itself was a mess. Silos everywhere. Product didn't talk to sales. Engineering barely talked to QA. Documentation was garbage. Budgets leaked money through cracks nobody patched. But under all the clutter, the bones were good. Real talent, solid clients. Some killer ideas that never made it past the whiteboard. What they didn't have was leadership. So I gave it to them, unofficially. I stayed late. I asked real questions. I figured out who actually did the work and who just sat in meetings. I took notes, mental ones. 12-hour days, every day, sometimes more. I made copies, ordered lunch, booked meetings nobody wanted to attend. And I watched everything. 8 months in, I was eating a stale muffin at my desk when Ron strolled over, all smiles. "Big win, kiddo," he said, slapping a manila folder on my keyboard. "We just landed a huge client. Major development project. Think you're ready for something bigger?" "Like what?" I asked. He leaned against my desk like we were old pals. "I need someone sharp to help manage it. You'll handle timelines, pull resources, keep the devs moving. Think of it as project leadership, adjacent." "No title change?" I asked. He grinned like I'd asked if I could borrow his car. "Not yet. Let's see how you handle it first." Big opportunity, though. Great visibility. I knew what it really meant. He needed someone to do the heavy lifting while he played the hero upstairs. No bump, no raise, no credit. But I nodded. "Yeah, I'll take it, attaboy," he said, walking off like a quarterback tossing me his gym bag. I stared down at that folder for a long minute, then opened it. New client, new build, $2 million budget. And now, my problem to solve. I got pulled into that project like it was quicksand. 1 week it was timelines and status updates. The next, I was running full-blown dev stand-ups, managing sprint retros, calming down pissed-off clients, and somehow still filing everyone else's damn budget reports. My official title never changed, but I was the one keeping the whole thing from falling apart. I didn't leave the office before 9 p.m. for 6 months straight. Sometimes I didn't leave at all. I kept a spare shirt in my drawer and a toothbrush in the break room. I slept on the carpet under my desk more nights than I want to admit. I missed my daughter's 8th birthday, FaceTimed her from the stairwell while QA was screaming about a broken build. My wife started sleeping on the couch, and I kept telling myself it was temporary, that once the project was done, it'd all be worth it. They'd see. They'd have to. But that finish line kept moving. 6 months in, our lead developer quit out of nowhere, walked out mid-sprint over some ridiculous fight about PTO. Ron panicked, sent out a mass email like the sky was falling. I made 3 calls, pulled in a guy I'd worked with back in college. The guy onboarded himself in 2 days and had the pipeline running by the weekend. Nobody thanked me. Ron slapped me on the back and said, "Well, crisis averted." Then took full credit for the quick leadership response during his Monday update to the execs. Every week, I wrote the reports. He reworded them and sent them upstairs. Every deck, every data point, every single talking point he used in those high-level meetings, mine. But I kept quiet because I believed in the work, the product, the people under me who actually gave a damn. I pushed through every fire drill, every last-minute client pivot, every budget cut that came down without warning. 18 months, and finally, we launched. It was a hit. Bug-free rollout. Client thrilled, industry buzz. We even got mentioned in TechVantage Weekly, which, for a firm our size, was like winning the lottery. The next morning, Ron sent out a glowing company-wide email. Phrases like Herculean team effort and strategic leadership wins were everywhere. No mention of my name. But I kept reading. At the bottom of the email, there was an announcement. To recognize the hard work of our senior staff, we'll be holding a private dinner at Devante's next Thursday. A $300,000 performance bonus pool will be distributed among department heads and key leadership. I wasn't on the invite list. I checked twice, 3 times. Thought it was a mistake, so I walked into Ron's office, shut the door behind me. "Hey," I said, "you left me off the bonus dinner." He didn't even look up, just kept typing. "That dinner's for department heads. I ran the project." "You supported it," he said, finally glancing at me. "Admin side." I felt something snap in my chest. 18 months. I did your reports. I filled in for dev leads. I coordinated everything. "And you were paid for that," he cut in. "This dinner's for the people who made strategic decisions. You helped, but that's not the same." I stared at him. My hands were shaking. I stuffed them in my pocket so he wouldn't see. "Right," I said. "Got it." I turned and walked out before I did something stupid. Back at my desk, I opened the project launch email again, scrolled to the bottom, read the bonus line one more time, then I closed it, and I knew. This wasn't about recognition. This was war. That night, I couldn't bring myself to go inside. I sat in my truck in the back lot, engine off, heat barely trickling. The building was lit up like a Christmas tree, like nobody in there had ever felt the kind of humiliation burning in my chest. I'd given them everything, and they turned me into a footnote. I stared at the 5th-floor corner window. Ron's office. Lights still on, probably in there polishing his speech for the bonus dinner. I reached for my phone, scrolled past messages from my wife, ignored the one from my daughter with a blurry selfie and a heart emoji. Then I tapped the voicemail icon. The lawyer's name was Richard Lacey. He'd been leaving messages for months, always polite, always waiting. I hit redial. He picked up on the second ring. "Mr. Martin." "It's Faulkner," I said. "Let's do it. I'm activating the trust." He didn't even pause. "Understood. I'll file the request and notify the board. You'll have voting control within 24 hours. I ended the call, just like that. Next morning, I had it in writing. 18% from me, 22% through my mother's proxy, 40% direct ownership, 61% with voting control, majority. Richard broke it down for me over a 3-hour call. You now have legal authority to restructure departments, terminate executive roles, appoint leadership, and issue internal memos on company policy. You can also call all-hands meetings without board approval. His voice was steady, clinical. Mine wasn't. "Just tell me what's next," I said. "Next, you document everything. You move fast, and you keep it clean." I didn't sleep that night. I didn't eat either. I went back through org charts, reporting lines, compensation memos, Ron's emails, every single one I'd quietly forwarded to my personal inbox over the last 2 years. Then, I dug up the bylaws, found the clause about emergency meetings, printed it, highlighted it, stapled it to the front of a packet labeled Executive Action, Faulkner Holdings. That was 2 a.m. At 5:30, I drafted the email, subject line, mandatory all-staff meeting, tomorrow at 10 a.m., conference room, 3-body, attendance required, no exceptions. Bring your department leads. I hit send. Then I stood up, walked into the bathroom, splashed cold water on my face, and stared at myself in the mirror for a full minute. No more hiding, no more second chances. Tomorrow, they were going to find out exactly who I was and whose name was on the building. At 9:58, the hallway outside conference room 3 buzzed like a kicked beehive. People shuffled in holding coffees, phones, half-finished bagels. No one knew what the hell was going on. You could feel it in the air, that twitchy office tension before something big. I waited by the door, just like I had 18 months ago. Only this time, I wasn't standing outside it. This time, I opened it. The room was packed, 70 people, elbow to elbow. Engineers, ops, admin, even the C-suite clowns who usually skipped internal meetings unless there was catering involved. Then I saw Ron, back wall, arms crossed, jaw tight. He pushed through a few rows and marched toward me. "What the hell is this, Donnie?" he barked. "You can't just hijack the schedule." I held up my hand. "We're starting now." "Who even authorized—" "My name's Donnie Faulkner," I said, loud and clear. "Yes, that Faulkner." The room went dead silent. A couple people blinked. Someone in the back dropped a pen. I swear I saw one guy's jaw literally drop open like a cartoon. Ron froze mid-step. His eyes darted around like someone had yanked the floor out from under him. I walked up to the whiteboard, uncapped a marker, and started writing. Emery Faulkner, founder, deceased, 2021. Successor, Donnie Faulkner, 61% voting control. I turned around. 2 years ago, I joined this company under the name Donnie Martin. Some of you worked with me. Most of you didn't notice. That was the point. You could have heard a pin drop. People leaned in. Others just stared. I started as a project coordinator. No title. No perks. I kept my head down. My voice didn't shake. I'd practiced this part all night. That $2.2 million contract you all just celebrated, that was mine. Every late night fix. Every client call. Every sprint deadline. Mine, I looked at Ron. His face was a shade between milk and ash. "And you," I pointed straight at him, took the credit, took the bonuses, took the meetings. I wasn't invited to Donnie. "It's Faulkner," I snapped. "And you're done." He blinked. "Excuse me?" "You're terminated, Ron. Effective immediately. 2 weeks severance and a neutral reference. Legal has your exit paperwork ready." Gasps. A couple people looked at each other like they weren't sure if it was a prank. "It's not personal," I said. "It's performance. And yours doesn't cut it." Ron stepped forward, voice rising. "You can't do this. You don't have the authority." "I do," I said, "and I already filed it with the board." "Check your inbox." Someone near the door looked down at their phone, then another. Buzzes started hitting like dominoes. Ron's face twisted. "You think you're some kind of hero?" "No, I think I'm the owner." And the owner's cleaning house. I turned to the screen, pulled up a spreadsheet. This was the original bonus payout list for the Scorpion project, handpicked by Ron, department heads only, regardless of who did the actual work. Then I clicked to the second tab. This is the corrected version. The names shifted. New ones at the top. Engineers, testers, Q, A leads, even 2 junior PMS. My name was first. Ron's wasn't there at all. Murmurs. One woman near the front covered her mouth. "I've canceled all pending bonuses," I said. "The new ones go out today based on real contribution. Not politics, not titles." Nobody clapped, nobody cheered, just silence. Like the whole room forgot how to breathe. "From this day forward," I said, "this company will be run on merit. You work hard, you get paid, you show up, you get seen, you take shortcuts, you're gone." I scanned the room. "I'm not here to play boss. I'm here to build something that works, and I want people beside me who actually give a damn." Still quiet. Good. That meant they were listening. "Meeting's over," I said. "Back to work." I grabbed the marker off the board and walked out. I didn't look back when I walked out of that conference room. Didn't need to. The silence said enough. Over the next 2 weeks, the ripple effect hit fast. 3 mid-level managers, all tight with Ron, handed in their resignations without a word. No goodbyes, no exit interviews. They just disappeared like smoke. I didn't chase them. Instead, I pulled up the organization chart and started making moves. I promoted people who actually did the damn work. Lisa from QA, sharp, no nonsense, zero ego, got bumped to director. Marvin in infrastructure, who once fixed a 6-hour outage in 20 minutes with duct tape and Python, now ran ops. No politics, no ass-kissing. We rolled out a new bonus structure that same week. Flat percentages tied to project success. Clear metrics, transparent reviews. I even posted mine publicly. I made less than I did under the old system. Nobody said it out loud, but the vibe shifted. The whispering stopped. People started holding each other accountable. Not out of fear, but because they finally knew who was pulling weight. Slack messages got shorter, sharper. Deadlines stopped sliding. People actually talked in meetings instead of nodding through Ron's garbage. Then came the contracts. First, a $3.8 million proposal we'd been chasing for months. Suddenly, greenlit. Then another one, $1.6 million, landed the week after. We didn't even offer the lowest bids. The clients told us straight up. It was because of how we communicated, how we ran our shop. Feels like you guys actually care, one exec said on a Zoom call. We did. I moved my desk upstairs. Corner office. Same one Ron used to sit in like a king. But I still ate lunch at the big table near the kitchen, where the devs joked too loud and the support team passed around hot sauce like currency. I didn't bring a title with me, just a sandwich and whatever was left in the vending machine. People started calling me Donnie Faulkner to my face. Not Donnie Martin. Not, hey man, or, sorry, can you run this by Ron? They knew now. And I didn't have to explain it anymore. Some mornings I'd catch my reflection in the glass. The same place I once stood, invisible during their celebration. Now I was the one people waited on before meetings started. But I didn't toast myself. Didn't decorate the office or order some tacky CEO plaque. I just kept showing up. Same grind, different authority. Because I knew how fast respect could be stolen if you stopped earning it. 1 year to the day. 12 months since I took the wheel and yanked the whole company off the tracks it was barreling down. Now, we stood in the same conference room where Ron once locked me out. Same glass walls, same fluorescent lights, same long table. But the room felt different. This time, everyone was in it. Not just the execs, not just the lifers. Everybody who touched the $6.5 million Westbridge project, from back-end devs to client support, to the intern who rebuilt the testing tool nobody asked for but everyone ended up using. No name tags, no seat assignments, no gatekeepers at the door. I stood at the head of the table, a bottle of champagne in one hand, the other resting on the project binder. The same binder that had once sat ignored on Ron's desk like a coaster. I'll keep this short, I said, raising my glass. To all of you, because what we've built here... I paused, looked around the room, at the faces I used to pass in the halls, without anyone saying a damn word. We built together. People raised glasses, not just polite clinks, real cheers, laughter, eye contact, relief. We weren't perfect, but we were real. Someone cranked the music. Someone else started dragging pizza boxes onto the table. No suits, no speeches, no camera crews. Just a team that actually gave a damn. Outside the conference room, we hung a new sign next to the door. Brushed metal, bold black letters. Respect is earned and paid. I never wanted to come in swinging. That wasn't the plan. I wanted to prove myself the hard way. Earn it like anybody else. But when people try to shut the door on you, sometimes the only move left is to own the building. Ron never sued. Never sent a cease and desist. Never even tried to push back. He knew better. Turns out, when you document everything, the lies, the emails, the gaslighting, the numbers, there's not much left to argue. Now the building's mine. My name's Donnie Faulkner, and I run the company my father started. Not because of a last name, not because of blood, not because of trust money or technicalities, but because I earned the right to do it right.